Sagittarius walking through the fire of transformation. Beloved Sagittarius soul, if you are hearing these words, know that it is not by accident. Nothing arrives at your spirit's door without purpose. Perhaps you have felt it already. An invisible current stirring beneath the surface of your daily life. You catch yourself staring into the night sky longer than usual, wondering why your heart feels restless even when everything around you seems steady. You notice subtle signs, the same numbers repeating, the same questions echoing inside you, or the same sense of anticipation that something is shifting, though you cannot name what it is. This is not coincidence. This is your intuition, your inner compass, calling you back to yourself. Sagittarius, you are the seeker of light, the wanderer who dares to step beyond boundaries that once kept you safe but also kept you small. And now you stand at the threshold of change. The old cycle is loosening its grip, and though part of you longs to cling to what is familiar, another part is whispering, you are ready. In the quiet, your soul is awakening to the truth that transformation is not something to fear. It is the very fire that purifies you, the path that brings you closer to your essence. So as we begin this journey together, let us walk gently with open hearts. If these words stir something inside you, let that be your sign that you are not alone. Share this space with those who may need the same reminder, so no one walks their path in silence. And if you feel called to stay connected, you may like, share, or subscribe, not as a duty, but as a way of keeping the flame of wisdom alive between us. For when Sagittarius awakens, the whole world feels the warmth of your fire. Gate 1: the test of value, money, integrity, and the Sagittarius soul. Sagittarius, you carry within you a fire that seeks meaning above all else. While others may find comfort in stability, your restless spirit asks, what is true? What is real? What is worth my energy? And in this very season of your soul, life is placing before you a mirror called money. It may appear as an offer, an opportunity, or even a promise that feels almost too good to refuse. But beneath the surface, this is not about numbers. It is about truth. It is about whether your soul will choose what has lasting value over what only appears valuable for a fleeting moment. Many Sagittarians know this trial well. Imagine the story of a young woman born under your sign. Her friends praise her for landing a prestigious corporate job with a handsome salary. On the outside, she seems successful. Yet every morning, she wakes with heaviness in her chest, knowing she must spend hours doing work that drains her spirit and betrays her deeper calling. When an alternative path opens, less secure, less profitable, but alive with meaning, she hesitates. Should she choose safety or should she choose truth? Her story reflects what so many Sagittarius souls feel in silence: the tension between survival and authenticity, between comfort and freedom. The Buddha once taught that there are two kinds of wealth: the wealth of the world and the wealth of virtue. Sagittarius, your soul already knows which one calls your name more deeply. For you, no sum of money can ever substitute for the freedom to live honestly, to follow your inner compass, to align with the fire of purpose. This does not mean you reject material success. It means you cannot accept wealth that demands you silence your own truth. Ask yourself, when you last held money in your hand, did it feel warm or cold? Did it reflect your integrity? Or did it whisper of compromises made in shadows? Perhaps you once accepted a job, a gift, or even financial support from someone who tried to control you with it. Did you feel free? Or did you feel bound? Sagittarius, this is the exact point of your soul's test. Not every gift is a blessing. Not every opportunity is aligned with your path. Some are temptations wrapped in silk, asking you to exchange your inner fire for a temporary light. The universe is not punishing you with these trials. It is proving you. It is whispering, will you remember who you are? Even when the world offers you a shortcut? When you choose integrity over illusion, you may lose a sum of money, but you will gain something no bank can hold: peace, clarity, freedom. And this is the wealth your soul came here to claim. Sagittarius, do not be afraid if you are being asked to walk away from what seems glittering but feels empty. Do not hesitate if your intuition trembles, warning you that a reward is not what it pretends to be. You were not born to dim your fire in exchange for comfort. You were born to carry that fire into the world, reminding all who see you that true value cannot be bought, only lived. And so the first gate of your journey stands before you. Will you choose what is easy, Or will you choose what is true? Remember, the real wealth is not the applause you gain from others, nor the status you can display, but the quiet freedom of a heart that can rest in its own light. For Sagittarius, money is never only about survival, it is about soul alignment. And when you dare to honor that, the universe always provides in ways you could never predict. Gate 2 endings, loss, and the silent teacher of death. Sagittarius, the second gate of your journey is one that few souls willingly approach, yet it is the one that shapes you most profoundly. The gate of loss. It may come as the departure of a loved one, the ending of a relationship, the collapse of a dream, or even the subtle death of an old identity that no longer fits who you are becoming. However it arrives, it always carries the same whisper. What has ended is no longer meant to define you. For the Sagittarian soul, endings are not punishments but invitations, urging you to release what has grown too small for your spirit's vast horizon. You know this feeling, don't you? That moment when someone you thought would stay forever drifts away, not always in dramatic fashion, but often quietly, as though they were never meant to remain. Sometimes it is not a physical death but the silence of a friendship where words no longer flow, the emptiness of a relationship where love has faded, or the hollow ache of a passion that once lit you up but now feels lifeless. These are deaths too, even if no one speaks of them. And Sagittarius, because of your great sensitivity to truth, you feel them deeply. You wonder, what did I do wrong? Was I not enough? But hear this, it is not that you failed. It is that your soul grew beyond what could contain it. The Buddha once said that death is nothing to the one who has lived fully in each moment. And God, too, allows endings not to hurt you, but to protect you from living in a place where light can no longer enter. Every loss you endure is a kind of sacred pruning, cutting away what is dead, so that something alive may grow in its place. For Sagittarius, this is especially true, for you are the archer whose arrow must always aim forward. If you cling too tightly to what is gone, you cannot take the next step into the life your spirit longs for. Imagine a Sagittarian man who clings to a relationship long after it has ended. He tells himself that staying is an act of loyalty, yet every day his fire dims. He avoids the silence at night, filling it with distractions, because in truth he knows the love he once shared has already died. In time he realizes that the true cruelty is not in letting go, but in forcing himself to carry something lifeless. When he finally releases, yes, the grief comes, but so does the freedom. And slowly, the space that was once heavy with sorrow fills with something new: lightness, possibility, rebirth. His story is your story, Sagittarius. For every soul under your sign, loss is never the end. It is the sacred threshold to becoming more authentic, more alive. Endings are not here to break you, but to return you to yourself. They strip away illusions, roles you no longer need to play, and attachments that weigh down your flight. Death, whether literal or symbolic, is the great teacher reminding you that nothing truly yours can ever be taken. What belongs to your soul will never need chasing. What leaves you was never meant to stay in this chapter. When you stop resisting, you begin to see that loss is not loss at all, but an opening, a clearing of space where new life may emerge. Sagittarius, you are not being asked to pretend that pain does not hurt. Grief is holy, tears are sacred, and every ache in your chest is proof that you have lived and loved deeply. But grief too has its wisdom. It tells you where your soul has invested itself. It reveals what mattered most, and it teaches you the beauty of impermanence. The arrows of your heart cannot always return to the past, but they can point you toward a new horizon where you are freer, lighter, and more awake. So when loss visits you, do not cling in fear. Do not force yourself to hold the broken shards only because you are afraid of empty hands. Trust that what is leaving is not punishment but guidance. Trust that endings are the guardians of your soul's growth, preparing you for the next cycle of expansion. You, Sagittarius, were never meant to remain in the same place forever. You were born to move, to evolve, to transform. And death, in all its forms, is the sacred force that ensures you keep walking forward into the life you were always meant to live. Gate 3, rebirth. The soul's call to begin again. Sagittarius, if Gate 2 was the heavy silence of endings, then Gate 3 is the first breath of dawn. Rebirth is never about erasing the past or pretending that pain did not shape you. It is about carrying the wisdom of what you have lost and using it to create a truer, freer life. Rebirth whispers to your soul, you are allowed to begin again. Not because you failed, but because you have grown. For a Sagittarius, whose very spirit is built upon journeys and new horizons, rebirth is both your challenge and your gift. So many Sagittarians resist this process at first. They think, if I let go of the old, does that mean all my effort was wasted? Was it all meaningless? But the truth is that nothing was wasted. Every heartbreak, every mistake, every ending has been a teacher. Each cycle that has closed was preparing you for a higher chapter of your life. Imagine a woman born under your sign who spent years building her life around a career that once thrilled her, but eventually began to feel like a cage. When the doors finally shut and she was forced to leave, she felt as though she had lost everything. Yet within months she discovered a new path. One that allowed her not only to work but to heal others, to share her fire, to live with meaning. She realized that her so-called failure was not an end at all, but the beginning of her true calling. This is what rebirth looks like, the transformation of endings into gateways. Rebirth does not always arrive with trumpets or sudden revelations. Sometimes it creeps in slowly, like learning to laugh again after grief, like trusting yourself after betrayal, like daring to dream after years of silence. It asks you to choose honesty over appearances, authenticity over comfort, light over shadow. Sagittarius, you are a seeker. And seekers cannot remain in the ashes for long. When your soul has burned away what no longer serves you, it is your destiny to rise. Think of the phoenix, a symbol deeply resonant with the Sagittarian fire. It does not deny that the flames consumed it. Instead, it allows those very flames to purify and transform it into something new. That is your path as well. Rebirth asks you to look at yourself in the mirror and see not the scars of what ended, but the strength of what survived. To see that you are no longer the same person who once endured loss, because you now carry a deeper light. Do not be afraid if you feel like a stranger to your own life during this process. That strangeness is proof that you are no longer fitting into old skins. Rebirth means you are stepping into an identity that has always been waiting beneath the surface. One not built on roles or expectations, but on truth. You may not know yet where this new path leads, but Sagittarius, your arrows do not need a map. They only need your trust in the horizon. Rebirth is not starting over from zero. It is starting again with wisdom. It is saying, yes, I have been broken, but I am no longer afraid of my cracks, for they let the light through. It is choosing to love yourself again, not because the world validates you, but because your soul deserves the gentleness you so easily give to others. And above all, it is choosing to live not by what was but by what is possible now. Sagittarius, the universe is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be honest, to be present, to remember that your fire was never extinguished. It was simply waiting to burn brighter in a new form. When you embrace rebirth, you are not only healing yourself, you are becoming a beacon for others who still wander in the dark. And that is the true beauty of this gate. Your new beginning becomes an invitation for others to find theirs. Gate 4, the path of true light. Living in alignment with your soul. Sagittarius, after walking through the fire of endings and the tender renewal of rebirth, you now stand at the final gate, the path of true light. This gate does not demand dramatic choices or external sacrifices. It asks something far more profound. Will you live in full alignment with your soul, not just in rare moments of clarity, but in the quiet rhythm of everyday life? For you, the archer of the zodiac, true light is not about perfection or shining above others. It is about authenticity. It is about walking each day with a heart unburdened by pretense, aiming your arrow not toward society's expectations but toward the horizon your spirit longs for. You may have noticed how easy it is to get pulled off your path. Opportunities come that look glittering but feel hollow. Relationships appear that promise safety, but demand you silence yourself. Responsibilities pile up until you forget your own fire beneath the weight. And yet, no matter how far you stray, the universe keeps calling you back. It sends signs in restless dreams, in synchronicities that catch your eye, in the quiet ache you feel when you are living someone else's story instead of your own. This call is your compass, Sagittarius. It reminds you that freedom, honesty, and vision are not luxuries for you. They are necessities. Consider a Sagittarian who once built their entire identity around pleasing others. They became who their parents wanted, who their partner admired, who society applauded. But at night, in the silence, they felt the emptiness. One day they chose differently. They walked away from the roles, from the masks, from the expectations. It was terrifying, yet it was also the first time they felt alive. Their courage did not make them selfish. It made them whole. This is the essence of Gate 4. Reclaiming the right to live in the truth of your own fire. Living in alignment with your soul does not mean your life will be without challenges. The path of true light is not the easiest path. It is the most honest. It may require you to walk away from relationships that no longer honor you, from careers that cage your spirit, from habits that dull your fire. But each time you choose authenticity, you feel lighter. Each time you speak your truth, you feel stronger. Each time you honor your intuition, you step closer to freedom. And Sagittarius, freedom is the very air your soul was born to breathe. This gate also asks you to trust. Trust that you do not need to see the entire road ahead before you take a step. Trust that your soul knows where it is leading, even when the world tells you otherwise. Trust that the light within you is enough to guide you through uncertainty. For Sagittarius, the journey has never been about arriving at a destination. It has always been about walking in truth, about embodying the light you already carry, about becoming a living reminder that authenticity is the highest form of freedom. So here at the fourth gate, the question is simple. Will you keep dimming your fire to fit, or will you dare to burn brightly in your own way? If you choose the latter, the universe will meet you with doors you could not have imagined, opportunities you did not have to chase, connections that nourish rather than drain. And you will realize that living in true light is not about becoming something new. It is about remembering who you always were before the world taught you to forget. Sagittarius, you are the archer, and your arrow is truth. When you release it from the bow of your soul, it will always find its way to the horizon meant for you. The path of true light is not ahead of you. It is already within you. And the moment you dare to walk it, you become not just a seeker of freedom, but a beacon for others searching for their way home. Conclusion: returning to the fire within. Sagittarius, you have walked with me through 4 sacred gates. The trial of value where money tested your integrity, the tender ache of endings where loss revealed its hidden wisdom, the gentle dawn of rebirth where you remembered that you are allowed to begin again, and the final path of true light where you were invited to live each day in alignment with your soul. Each gate has asked you not to escape your humanity but to embrace it more fully, to honor the truth within you, and to trust that transformation is never punishment, but always initiation. If your heart trembled while listening, it is because your soul recognizes these truths. You are not who you once were. You are no longer meant to shrink into places that no longer fit you, nor to exchange your fire for the comfort of silence. You came into this world to seek, to expand, to remind others that freedom is not something to chase. It is something to live. Even when loss comes, even when uncertainty surrounds you, the fire within you has never gone out. It waits only for you to remember its warmth. And so I ask you, Sagittarius, as you step forward from this moment, will you choose the easy path that dims your light, or will you choose the courageous path that sets your soul free? Trust that every ending has prepared you for a brighter beginning. Trust that the universe does not take away without returning something greater. And most of all, trust that the light you carry is enough to guide not only yourself, but those who walk beside you. If these words have touched you, share them with someone who may need this reminder, for healing multiplies when given. And if you wish to keep this circle of wisdom alive, you may like, share, or subscribe, so that we do not lose each other when the tides of life turn again. For Sagittarius, your journey is not just about you. It is about becoming the flame that warms others who are still searching in the dark. Walk forward with courage, beloved soul. The fire is already yours,